everyone. Welcome to Montessori Matters with Blessing Fort-Ike. Today, I will discuss why is the first 6 years of life so important. Why is the first 6 years of life so important? I believe a lot of us have heard that the first 6 years of life, the early years of life, are so important. This is true. I would add, every year in a child's life is so important. From birth to age 1, age 3 to age 17, 18, all these years are very, very important. However, when it comes to development, the first 6 years, the early years, are crucial. Why? Because this is when the foundation for everything the child will do in life is formed. Where the foundation is built. The foundation for the later, where the child will later build upon his character, his behavior, his attitude to learning, his attitude to life, his mannerism. Everything is laid at this period of time, this first 6 years, the early years of the child. That is why it is very important. That is why we need to take advantage of these early years to lay the right foundation for our children. This quote from Montessori sums it up. What is the quote? It said, the child is the constructor of the man. The child is the constructor of the man. That means all the toilings, all the experiences, all the exposure that the child goes through in life makes the man, make up the man. So if you want to know who a man is, just trace where the man is coming from. Or if you want to know who a man will be, just look at all the experiences the child is going through from birth to age 7 to age then you will know that this is who the man will turn into, except something else happened on the way. So for us to take advantage of these first 6 years, of these early years of the child, we ought to understand the kind of mind the child possesses. And this mind is called the absorbent mind. From birth to age 6 thereabout, the child possesses a mind that we call absorbent mind. And this mind is totally different from the way the adult mind is wired. The way the children think, the way they learn is totally different from that of adults. That is why it is called the absorbent mind. Let me tell you about the absorbent mind. If you can understand the absorbent mind, you can take advantage of the development of the child to be able to channel the development of the child rightly. So absorbent mind, I would say, is a mind that is active from birth to about 6 years, where the child effortlessly, naturally, spontaneously learn from his environment, soak up things that he sees in his environment. The child does not do it consciously. The child doesn't have choice over what he learns. He doesn't have choice over what he gets from his environment. He just takes it in naturally, spontaneously. This mind of the child can be likened to a camera. You know, a camera, it snaps images of everything his lens sees. Maybe the lens sees this, sees that. The camera, once the lens sees it, the camera snaps it. That is how it is to the child's mind. Once the child's senses can pick it from the environment, the child soak it in. It becomes part of the child. It can also be likened to a sponge that absorbs its environment. If a sponge is dipped into a soup, the sponge comes out with the soup. If it's dipped into a soapy water, the same thing. If it's dipped into a clean water, the same thing. That is how it is to a child. Anything positive or negative that is within the child's environment, the child absorbs it. The child learns from it and becomes part of the child for life. And this absorbent mind is divided into two parts or into two stages, as the case may be. The first one is called the unconscious absorbent mind. Like you say, unconscious. The child is not conscious of it. Absorbent, it absorbs things from the environment, and it's active between the ages of 0 to 3. That's from birth to about 3 years. That's when this unconscious absorbent mind is active. At this stage, this child, without making any choice, it doesn't have choice, it doesn't have control over it. The child absorbs everything, positive or negative, within its environment, within its surrounding. Anything the child sees, anything that the senses can pick, the 5 senses can pick, the child absorbs it naturally, spontaneously, effortlessly, without having to decide whether he wants to absorb it or not. That is how it is. That's why you see your children just observing the lips of people around them. They can speak their mother tongue fluently once it's 2, 3. When they start talking, they start speaking the language that was more in the environment where they were growing up. That's why you see children, they will want to walk. They are walking without anybody teaching them. They stand. Even if they fall, they try over it. It's because of the help of the absorbent mind. They absorb everything from the environment. And this time, the children, they are learning, they don't know they are learning. Even the adults within the environment wouldn't know that the child is learning. But thank God for knowledge. Now you know whether you see it or not, whether you are conscious of it or not, you know that the child is learning from the environment. So you must be deliberate of the things you expose within the child's environment. Why? The second stage is what we call the conscious absorbent mind. Now, as you can hear, conscious, that means the child have choice. The child is not conscious of it, but he still have that absorbent mind that is able to absorb things from the environment effortlessly, without struggle. It happens naturally, spontaneously. The child just learn. But this time, the child now have the choice to say, I want to absorb this or I don't want to absorb it. I want to see this, but I don't want to see it. That's why sometimes you just sit there, say, no, I wouldn't put on this. No, I'm not going. Or yes, I want this. Now the child can exercise its way. Even though the child still learns from his environment effortlessly, but now you now have a choice to say, yes, I want to learn this, or no, I don't want to learn this. At this time, the child craves for independence. The child wants to do things for himself. The child now knows that, he's not conscious of who he is. He's not conscious of his way. He's conscious that he can exercise his way. So he starts exercising it. At this time, any adult that want to help or want to create dependency, it seems as an obstacle to the development of the child. You are obstructing the development of the child. This doesn't mean that the child is not independent of the adult. No. The child still needs the help of the adult, but now the child is just showing that the child is not conscious of who he is. He's not conscious that he can exercise his will, so and he wants to do it. So we ought to understand this so that we don't have struggles with our children. So what we need to do at this time is to expose the child to positive environment, to things we know that can enhance their character, can enhance their behavior, can enhance their attitude to learning, that will give them a positive attitude to learning. These are the things which you expose the child to. Like I always say, you are part of the environment. Anything you expose the child to is part of its environment. So now, what you need to do, since you know that the child will effortlessly take in everything within his environment, you ought to be deliberate to place the right experiences, the right things within the child's environment that will enrich his development morally, intellectually, language-wise, emotionally, socially, and spiritually. You must be deliberate. That is the beauty of the absorbent mind. That is what God has placed in the child to make the child a wholesome human being, a responsible human being. But we as the adults, the parents, the teachers, educators, we ought to be conscious of this and place the right things to so that the absorbent mind can take advantage of this environment and to build a total child. I've come to the end of today's video and I believe you have learned something. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe and share.